Guys.
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Grizzly K and today we're going to be talking about the Delphi case again. If you didn't know, I have quite an extensive playlist for you on the case. If you do want to check that out, I will link it in the description box for you. We've done a deep dive on this case for quite some time. So today we're going to look at the updates, but what I've decided to do is to do a full recap because there's a lot of new people here. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Welcome to all the new Grizzlies. And of course, welcome to all my moderators, my patrons, members. Thank you so much for your support. And welcome to all the OGs. Original Grizzlies means you were subscribed already. To all the new Grizzlies, welcome. Okay, so I've got a presentation for you. And I thought, though, for those of you who are only here for the update, I could just quickly give you some of those bullet points if you're not interested in a refresher, you know. So let me just quickly look at the poll. Let me just see what you guys are saying so that I can just gather. Just hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so have you been following this case? 62% say yes, closely. 19% say only a bit. 5% say never heard of this case. And 14% say yes, need a refresher. You see? We need a recap, you guys. We need a recap. So I'm going to end the poll now. And so what I'm going to do is quickly go like this. It should be at the end here. Wait. There we go. So I'll just quickly give you the update of this hearing. For those of you who are only here for this update, I hope you're here for the whole recap. But let me just tell you what happened in the Richard Allen hearing yesterday. So the hearing was intended as a bond hearing, which was then changed to a suppression hearing. But then, so by the way, the defense is requesting that ballistic evidence is thrown out before the trial. And then, according to media reporters who were there, it became a hearing devoted to Richard Allen's safekeeping, aka moving him from Westville Correctional Facility to the Cass County Jail. Now, apparently the judge has said he can be moved under advisement. I'm not sure when or how, but yes. Then they said Richard usually, according to reporters, greets his wife or makes eye contact, but he didn't this time. He was described as looking dazed, confused, fragile, and out of it. The trial date has been set for January 8th to January 26th. So they will say a 3-week trial, so January 8th to 26th, starting with jury selection on January 8th. So that's good to know as well. Sorry, I missed this one. Thank you so much, PT Notterman. Thank you so much for spoiling Fury. Really appreciate that. Okay, so put that in your calendars. Trial date, I'm not sure if we'll have any camera access or audio or what we'll have at the time, but if we have any access, I will let you know. Oh yes, indeed. And then I wanted to tell you guys as well that documents that were previously not released to the public will be published by Judge Gall to a website. Now, I've contacted the Carroll County Court just to be like, well, what website? It sounds like this mystery website, you know. But anyway, so let's see if they tell me what the website will be. I'm sure we'll all find out soon enough. But we'll have documents over here. So as soon as those they're unsealed, but they weren't officially sealed. They just weren't available to the public. But there's going to be a whole lot of documents available. And it's kind of what I was also waiting for today. But apparently this is happening sometime next week. They also said the ballistics and bail hearings will be set for a later date. Everyone was very much, I can't say excited for, but looking forward to hearing, well, what's the outcome going to be of this ballistics hearing? If you don't know what that's all about, his attorneys have asked for all ballistics evidence to be thrown out before the trial, which is pretty much the only evidence they really have that we know of, right? That evidence is pretty important, and they're like, yeah, just throw that out. So we'll see what they say with whenever that hearing will be. We are yet to know what date that will be. And so we're also going to look at clips today of Richard Allen arriving in the court and leaving the court. So we'll get to that as well. And then prosecutor Nick McClellan said that Richard Allen has confessed 5 or 6 times while in jail. So not to the police, not to the officials, which means it's not like he confessed, that's it, no trial. It's hearsay at this point, but apparently he's made some jailhouse confessions. The defense didn't deny that he's made some incriminating statements, and they said it's due to his deteriorating mental health. So he's been in solitary confinement for 20 plus hours a day. And he's been in, we're going to go over the whole timeline, don't worry, but he's been incarcerated, well, in jail since October of 2022. So it's quite some time. He's lost a lot of weight as well, and he really does look quite out of it. I do just want to comment that it can't only be, in my opinion, the prison or the jail conditions, right? He's in a maximum security correctional facility, even though he is innocent until proven guilty, So they say he's being treated like someone who's already been convicted, which he hasn't yet. He's just a suspect, right? But the thing is that it could also be, of course, it's not just the conditions. It could be like mentally what he's going through and all sorts of things. We also don't know exactly how his health is really doing, but it does look pretty terrible to see the deterioration. However, I will say we've obviously seen this pattern quite a lot when there are suspects that are put in jail. This it is still true crime. It's not murder from what we know, but like Harvey Weinstein, the Golden State Killer. There's many examples where they suddenly look all frail. They lose weight and they become like really, really frail. And it could be a way to garner sympathy. But to me personally, he looks pretty out of it. I don't know what you guys think. And Crystal Ann says, can't wait for the documents. Me too, right? Yes. You say, isn't he in jail, not prison? Supposed to be, yes. But he's in a maximum security facility where he really shouldn't be. It's for his safekeeping, you know what I mean? But they just say the lawyers are saying it's terrible and they need to move him, but everyone's worried about his safety, where they move him to. They need maximum manpower because, of course, suspects or criminals involved with children, they don't do well in jail. Yes. Okay. So, Tina, thank you so much. She said, hello, everyone. Hope he gets what he deserves. Well, do you think it's absolutely him or what? I know there's a lot of conversation still going on wherever, social media, everywhere, podcasts, YouTube, about this case. It's very interesting. You think the Koberger case is interesting and all that doubt going around. Well, this case is very similar if you've never heard of it. All right, welcome, and Gothic Brinax, thank you for being a member for 1 month already. So that is pretty much the bullet points. Now, what I'm going to do is go back to the beginning. Now we're going to do a recap, okay? So if you don't need a recap, that's okay. Then come back and then we'll look at some things again later. But I think you might find it interesting nonetheless, because even though I've looked at this case many times, I find a refresher is always a good idea, and just to remind ourselves what's going on, right? Oh man. TX3 says, well, apparently the mayor and Libby's sister are not guilty. I've never suspected Libby's sister. Ooh, but that mayor. If you've been to some of those members only streams, and on Patreon, I've also shared a lot over there about this case and my thoughts on it. Yes. Sarah D, thank you for being a member for 13 months. Are we ready, you guys, to dive in? So, the Delphi murders. So we must remember who the victims are. Okay, the victim isn't Richard Allen. He's a suspect. And even though he's deteriorating and looking frail and everybody's feeling sorry for him at this point, well, not everybody. Majority, though. People are like, oh my word, what a state and everything. I get it. But the victims in this case are Libby and Abby. So we got to remember that. Not that we should forget, but like sometimes, the focus is so much on the suspect. So yes, now, when did this happen? It happened on February 13th, 2017. And it happened at Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. Very small community. This was a huge shock to them. The highest profile case I think they'll ever have, even for any town. It's like really hectic. So what we have here, the pin, you could see Monon High Bridge on the map there. And that is the point at which they were there. We'll go over the timeline now again. But the circle is the area in which their bodies were allegedly found, and on the other side of the creek. So we know that, if you don't know, but don't worry, you will, bridge guy, the person who Libby caught on camera from, and in the audio as well, the guys down the hill would be a guy walking towards them on the bridge and saying, guys, down the hill. There's only like 3 seconds of video that they've ever released to us. And then, I don't know if she then put the phone in her pocket or what happened, but he said, guys, down the hill, which is also interesting to talk to two little girls like that, guys, down the hill. There's also lots of speculation. Is this really the only suspect? Everyone expected more arrests. But anyway, so for now, this is the only suspect. Yes, that we know of. So anyway, he said there, guys down the hill, and they were forced to go walking down that hill. You can actually see a little path there as well. And across the creek, and their bodies were found on that side, on a guy's property called Ron Logan. Ron Logan has come into question back and forth here and there because everyone found it odd that their bodies were found on his property. And that day, he'd made up some kind of alibi, but he was really just covering, from what I understand, his not being allowed to drive because of drinking. So there's that as well. Okay. So sorry if I miss any of your comments. I'll glance here and there where I can. So that's what we have there. So just a little bit of who's who so that you can just familiarize yourself. You have Libby's mom. The victims are Libby German and Abigail Williams. Libby was 14, Abby 13. So you got Libby's mom, right? Libby's dad. We've got Libby's grandmother and grandfather. Libby's sister Kelsey, you may have seen her a lot. She's done a lot of interviews. She's been at CrimeCon. Libby's grandparents have also been at CrimeCon, continually talking about the case. And Libby's grandmother is actually, she used to share every single day, today is the day, on Twitter. Today is the day. And they never lost hope that one day there will be justice for Libby and Abby. So it was like a huge moment when someone was arrested in this case. And then we've got Libby's friend Abby, who was with her that day, and there's a picture of her with her mom. All right. So welcome all. If you're only joining the stream now, we are going over the Delphi case, just refreshing ourselves. Okay. So, yes. You guys are talking about Kegan Kline. There's a lot. We got to look at all these characters in the story. It's really hectic. This case has been, obviously, for 5 years, almost 5 years before anyone was arrested. Can you imagine all the speculation? Imagine, because I think a lot of you followed the Idaho case very closely, the Idaho 4, right? Imagine if for 5 years no one was arrested. I mean, someone has been arrested and still the theories are like all over the place, right? So with this, for 5 years, there were a lot of POIs. Okay, so February 13th, 2017 at 2:05 p.m. I'm going to go over this relatively quickly because I've got a huge playlist that I will show you, and we've done a very slow, methodical deep dive. Okay, this is a refresher. Welcome to the refresher course. So at 2:05 p.m., Abby and Libby crossed Monon High Bridge, and Libby then uploaded a photo of the bridge to Snapchat. Snapchat's important, remember that for later. Okay, so then at 2:07 p.m., Libby posts a photo of Abby to Snapchat. Now, a lot of people have looked at this photo, and they think it's a bit odd for the time of day, the way the shadows form, and the way everything is. Even that is everything in this case has got a whole theory of its own. Okay, I'm just presenting the bullet points to you at this point. You make up your own mind, you do your own research. So then at 2:13 p.m., which is interesting because the date, of course, was 2/13/2017, and then at 2:13 p.m., Libby records bridge guy walking towards them. Total recording is 43 seconds, is what they say. We only see about 3 seconds. I think it's actually a second of video, honestly, but guys down the hill, I think that was 3 seconds. The video is like a second, right, of bridge guy. And they called the suspect bridge guy throughout the coverage of this case because all we knew him as is the dude on the bridge. Danny Scales, thank you so much for your $2.99 super chat. Okay, So then, at 3:11 p.m., Derek, Libby's dad, calls to say that he's passing Wilson's Bridge and he gets no response. And then at 3:14 p.m., he calls again, there's no answer, and then he arrives and starts looking for them. At 3:30 p.m., he calls Becky Patty, Libby's grandmother, to tell her that he can't find the girls. At 5:20 p.m., family calls law enforcement to report the missing girls. At 6 p.m., law enforcement asks Kelsey about Libby's Snapchat posts. Just one quick comment here. Papa Bear said the way he's being housed or treated is wrong in my opinion. It goes in opposition to our system of innocent till proven guilty. When someone is treated like this, any of us could be treated as such. I must agree with you, Papa Bear. I understand how you feel there. Okay, so then, February 14th at 2 p.m., law enforcement holds a press conference, and this is 2017, right? They hold a press conference to announce 2 bodies have been found and they suspect foul play. On February 15th, the bodies were identified, autopsies were completed by noon. And at 3 p.m., they announced they are now investigating a double homicide. So that was a shock. We've gone over all the press conferences as well. I also have a case file for you. I think I've got 2 case files actually in my playlist where I put everything together. All the press conferences in order for you. Chronological order with all the dates listed and everything. So if you want to check that out, if you've never heard of this case, that would be a good place to start because you can literally see everything right there and you can watch it on 1.5 speed if you want. Then they said, we're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS or DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North next to the Hoosier Heartland Highways between noon and 5 p.m. on February 13, 2017. As you notice there, they didn't say the color of the car, they didn't say the make of the car, they're just like a car, which we all found very strange at the time, right? So July 17th, 2017, they released an initial sketch, and those sketches still are like, wait, what? If you go back and you watch all the press conferences, still, a lot of what was said is like, very interesting, very dramatic, very theatrical, very interesting, right? So then on April 22nd, 2019, there was now a new sketch. So think of that. July 17, 2017, they released an initial sketch, right? And then 2 years later, new sketch. And they're like, we've changed our strategy. And it's a sketch of this much younger dude. We were all like, okay. And then a video clip was also released. Then they said, those are the sketches, by the way. So the first one in 2017, and look at the next one in 2019. And they're like, you didn't, to the killer who may be in this room, you didn't think we'd change our strategy, but we have. And like, what's the strategy? You know, and especially now, if you think of them arresting Richard Allen, I guess if you put the two together, it could kind of look like him, I guess. But the sketches could also really look like anyone. And they did, along the way, look like anyone and everyone. To the point where they're like, please, stop comparing them to people in our community or just people and sending that to us. Okay. So they said the person depicted in the originally released sketch is not presently a POI, a person of interest in this investigation. The new sketch is representative of the person captured on Libby's phone. Very interesting. Then they said youthful appearance, but they could fall into the age range from his 20s to late 30s. Could look different today if he has grown a mustache. I would say mustache. You guys say mustache. I know, right? 1 second. Ken Dalton says, Grizzly True Crime, do you think he's getting treated poorly inside with the dramatic changes in his appearance? I think many factors go into his dramatic change in his appearance, and we could discuss that after this, right? So, remind me. So then, youthful appearance could be in the age range from his 20s to late 30s, which he was also older than that, okay, when he was arrested. But anyway, we're looking at the time of the crime. We'll go over that. Could look different today if he's grown a moustache or a beard or let his hair grow longer or cut his hair shorter than depicted in the sketch. And then, on December 6th, 2021, Indiana State Police asked for information about an Anthony Shots profile on social media. So just when we thought the case was already quite interesting, like, whoa, like who's the Anthony Shots profile? Then this dude called Kegan Kline popped up. Oh man. And Kegan Kline, by everything we know now, seems to not be connected to this case at all, which is interesting because he was apparently one of the last people or the last person to talk to Libby via social media. So that's always been interesting. Kegan Kline and his dad, the red Jeep, him being at the Marathon gas station. There's a lot. Okay. So, bridge guy. Recorded by Libby German's cell phone on the Monon High Bridge at 2:13 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. Described as a white male, 5'6" to 5'10", 180 to 220 pounds, reddish brown hair. Believed to be between 18 and 40 years old, but may appear younger. Wearing blue jeans, a blue coat or jacket, and a hat. Watch how he walks, is what Doug Carter said. Superintendent Doug Carter, right? Watch how he walks. Watch the mannerisms as he walks. The person is from Delphi. Currently, or has previously lived here. Visits Delphi on a regular basis or works here. And now, the suspect, Richard Allen, he meets a lot of these criteria. I mean, he worked right there at the CVS. Damn. So they said the killer may be attending the press conferences. I don't know if Richard Allen ever did. Is hiding in plain sight. If it's Richard Allen, yeah, pretty much very close, okay. Has likely been interviewed by investigators. Thought for 2 years that they would not change their investigative strategy, but they did. He said, Doug Carter said, I know this is about power to you. Knows the killer will wonder what they know, and one day he will. What will those closest to you think when they learn that you brutally murdered 2 little girls, is what Doug Carter asked at a press conference, speaking to the killer who may be in the room, right? Confident the killer's told someone what he has done. And now we hear these alleged jailhouse confessions, so I wonder if this suspect has ever told anyone else along the way. Yes, and Jellybean said he was there that day. Yes, we've also gone over the probable cause affidavit before. We've done deep dives on all the documents along the way. So if you missed that, check it out. I'm just going to show you a snippet of it today as well. Okay. Otherwise, we'll be here for literally hours, which I don't mind. But like, it'll be we've done a deep dive already, so it's all there for you. So then, they believe that he's different since the murders and that people closest to him would notice the change. They said this new sketch is the person responsible for the murders of these 2 girls. So that's what we had, yes. Then, the FBI searched... There was a FBI search warrant on Ron Logan's property March 17th, 2017. So they suspected him at first, you know. Victims were found dead on Ron Logan's property, 1,400 feet from the house. They were murdered with a sharp weapon. Okay, so trigger warning, everyone. Now we're discussing some graphic stuff. It never gets too graphic on this channel, but some stuff, right? So Cherry says, is this from the release profile or John Kelly's profile? This is from the released profile. And this is now from the FBI search warrant that they said these things, right? That they were murdered with a sharp weapon. By the way, the autopsies have never been released. They've never said exactly how the girls died, how they were killed, how they were found. That will all probably be revealed at the trial, which I really feel for the families in that case, because they've really kept everything very close to the vest. Okay, so then they said a large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene. The killer likely would have gotten blood on his person or clothing. And when we looked at the probable cause affidavit, somebody said that they saw someone that looked like Richard Allen walking to his car, which they say there's a car matching what he was driving at this old CPS building, and that his clothes were muddy and bloody, which is interesting to think about as well. So it's like tying all this together, right? They suspect the killer took photos or videos of the scene. And I've always been worried about that, especially if the suspect was in any online circles like the ones that Kegan Kline frequented. I do want to have a tiny rant and just say, could people please, mainstream media, police officers, law enforcement, everyone, stop calling it child pornography, okay? I don't even care if I trigger YouTube with that, because the word is CSAM. Child sexual abuse material. It's not porn. There's no consent. CSAM. So, please, guys. I'm sure you guys know that. Okay, it just frustrates me when I see it. I go, every time I'm like, ooh, why they call it child porn? Like, please stop that. Okay, but Kegan Kline is in those circles. So, the point is, you know, with Kegan Kline's Google search history as well, because we've looked at that as well, and him looking up Sandy Hook bodies and all kinds of things, you just never know what these circles, how they connect and what they're looking for, what kind of footage, right? So then they said the victims had no visible struggle, no signs of struggle or fight. There were unknown fibers and unidentified hairs located from the crime scene, which sounded like animal hairs, especially with what they were looking for at Ron Logan's property, because he had like horses and farm animals, right? Okay, so Gene Davis says, you tell them, G. That's right. CSAM. One more time. Child sexual abuse materials, not child porn. Stop it. Okay, delete that from your mind forever. And please call out whoever says the other one, the CP one. Moving on. So the search warrant was looking for digital evidence, animal hairs, clothing, and bodily fluids. All right. So now let's compare Bridge Guy and Richard Allen. Richard Allen is innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. Okay. So I hope that he'll make it to trial, because he looks like he's in a state at the moment. I hope he's not actually losing his mind. Let's hope there will be justice, that he will go to trial, because this is the suspect that they are confident. They believe that he did this. So yeah, we want to get to the trial and make sure there's justice for Abby and Libby. So Bridge Guy, look at the comparison. 5'6" to 5'10". Richard Allen, 5'7", apparently. Age 18 to 40, may look younger. Age 44 at the time of the murders. Reddish brown hair. And then you can see the green means that's the box that was ticked, right? Reddish brown hair. 180 to 220 pounds. Weight seems in that range, is what you guys also gave me feedback for. The person is from Delphi. Oh yes, he's from Delphi. He has currently or previously lived there, visits Delphi on a regular basis, or works there. Elsie Doodles UK says, thank you, G, for saying what it should be called. Is it? You say, okay, let me just quickly do this. You're the only YouTuber that has brought this up. That makes me sad too. Come on, YouTubers. Like, you guys don't want to see me get snarky about that. I get so protective and snarky. Yes, thank you so much. So, you could see, it's pretty much what they described. But yes, we know that there's quite a wide range as well. Got to leave just a little room just in case, because this is the suspect, innocent till proven guilty. And if they want the ballistic evidence thrown out, like, whoa, what do they have then? So, according to Heavy.com, Richard Matthew Allen lived at the Delphi address since about 2006. He lived so close to Monon High Bridge, it's quite scary to think he lived right there. He worked at the CVS. He interacted with the victims' families. He saw them at the bar and all sorts of things. He previously lived in Peru. Now, if Peru rings a bell, yeah, Kegan Kline also lived there. And in a recent interview that Kegan Kline had with the Murder Sheet podcast, he's saying, why do people think I knew him? I was 10 at the time. Why would I know some drunk man? I don't know. Maybe your dad socialized with him, for all we know, right? So anyway, he previously lived in Peru, Greenwood, Mexico, and Indiana. Top comments. Tara German said, this is him, the suspect, right? Okay. And so we go on. Hope you're enjoying the refresher. Now, Richard Allen's wife took a photo of their daughter on Monon High Bridge in 2018. 2018. I think she uploaded it from what I remember now. Wait, I'm going through my memory here. It's when she graduated. Then she uploaded it, I think, in 2018. So these are just some interesting screenshots I found. So everyone found this quite eerie. You know, like, what if he took it? What if he took this? And obviously she looks very similar then to Libby German. I wouldn't want her to be completely traumatized and tormented by this thought. But it was discussed a lot, so I just wanted to show you as well. So there it says, I read the two allegedly he went into treatment for 30 days. Not for 1 second do I think he needed any mental health help. I think he was scared that people would recognize him. Got out of town for a month with a plausible explanation. So apparently, right after the murders, Richard Allen allegedly went into treatment for 30 days. Like rehab, right? And I think for alcoholism, from what I remember. Jilly Bean, thank you for being a member for 5 months. I am monitoring the chat. I'm just also focused here. I wish I had more eyes, okay? So then they said there was someone who worked at a bar that R.A., Richard Allen, had his pool tournaments with, who said that Richard Allen was knocked out of tournament first and then his wife eliminated later and became very nasty and verbalized physical harm to her once we get out to the parking lot. Now, this is all hearsay. This is all speculation. Just put it in here because it gave us a little bit of insight of what could his behavior be like. His co-worker at CVS said that sometimes R.A. as a supervisor would naturally become frustrated at work and maybe sigh, but he never lost his cool. So were there lots of people coming out of the woodwork of, who worked with him. And we've looked at other unsolved crimes, which again, it's kind of like the Idaho one. Could it be connected? And I mean, plausibly could be, but we just don't have any such facts yet. Phantom says, so he was drunk when he done this. Could be. So will there be a connection? There appears to be no connection. But what's interesting is remember that Kegan went to Las Vegas shortly after the murders, where he was researching Delphi news and murder news. He was researching how long does DNA last, that's very interesting. But if we look at it differently, it could be how long does DNA last, not because his DNA was at the scene, but in case he thought, what if the DNA evidence doesn't last, and then they're going to look only at digital evidence, and he's the last person who spoke to Libby, type of thing, right? But it's still interesting that he was researching that. Can law enforcement trace your IP address? He researched Sandy Hook bodies. Like, whoa, bro. Kegan allegedly told law enforcement that he was waiting in a red Jeep while someone else committed the murders. Now, this guy is such a pathological liar. Oh, my word, this guy can lie and lie and lie and lie. He's really annoying. Okay, so anyway, the rumor is that Richard Allen's dad had a red Jeep. The rumor is that they searched the fire pit at Tony or Kegan Kline's home, and they also recently searched a fire pit at Richard Allen's home. Richard Allen is said to have lived in Peru, Indiana in the past, so some potential shady connections. Here's another thing that was interesting throughout this investigation, right, is that on this 4chan site, someone said just because there was a video of Richard on the train tracks doesn't mean he did it. The cops are smart enough to know this and have probably interrogated him already. It was a dead end. Either that or he has connections. So remember in the Idaho case, the Papa Roger account? This is like that. Okay, where it's like, what? Did this anonymous? Is this him? Because no one else ever throughout this investigation talked about a video of Richard. And at the time, it was ignored. Like, what the hell with Richard? And they say, isn't any Richard, it's not Richard, he had nothing to do with it. Tell us more about Richard. You see that? Very interesting. And then also, what you fail to interpret about small town civics is the manner in which fall into each other in a public square. One cannot find happiness or fortitude with a simple game and keep their daughters safe from such predators. This man will get away with everything. I didn't come out and say it, but I lived in Delphi for years, and without a doubt, Richard is not well known in the town. I've been monitoring the thread. What? You see? Humpy, thank you for being a member for 6 months. And happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We are doing a semi-deep dive. We're just doing a refresher course on this Delphi case, especially for trial prep, which trial date has been set now for January 8th, 2024. Starting January 8th with jury selection, 3 weeks of trial. Okay, so what we're doing is just refreshing ourselves with all these funny little details, which especially helps after all this time. Now look at the persons of interest from the past. POIs from the past from those 2 sketches. Tobe Leazenby. And I mean, for some, he's still a suspect, okay? Tobe Leazenby. Superintendent Doug Carter. To me, he was a red flag at some point. I'm like, this guy says some strange things, my word. Ron Logan. There was Daniel Nations. And some of these were arrested throughout, right? And then law enforcement, it was like press conferences and zoning in, and then like, okay, no, it's not them. So, Daniel Nations, Charles Eldridge, Paul Etter, James Chadwell, Garrett Kurtz, Thomas Bruce, Kegan Kline, and then Richard Allen. Thank you, Wild Mustang Justice, for Libby and Abby. Yes. PT Anonymous. Semi-deep dive. Yeah. Exactly. So look at all of that. And I mean, they all look like the freaking sketch, don't they? Wow. Okay. So now, if we look at this, this is Kegan Kline, by the way. The most recent document is saying, comes now the defendant Kegan A. Kline, and having had an opportunity to review all the evidence in the above captioned matter, having consulted with my attorneys in this matter, William F. Berkshire and Eric, I don't know how to say that one, do hereby wish to proceed with the plea, which was entered as a judgment in this court on April 4th, 2023, and proceed to sentencing in this matter on July 27th, 2023. Once he's sentenced, he says he'll talk to the Murder Sheet podcast. I will be listening out to see, well, what does he say? What do you have to say about Delphi? Because he says he wants to talk a bit about Delphi. Please keep in mind, this guy lies like, I want to say lie like a fly. I don't know if flies lie, but it's a saying we say in South Africa, okay? Like, jy lieg soos 'n vlieg, you lie like a fly. So, yes, and he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots profile. He was using this guy's picture. This guy, who... This guy became a police officer, I believe in Canada, So then for a time, everyone was like, what? This guy's a police officer? He's still sus. But anyway, Kegan just used his pictures. He's like a model police officer. Look at that. Look at this freaking catfish on the screen right here. Creating the Anthony Shots profile. Pretending to be this guy. Why? To talk to little girls. That's why. So gross. Oh my word. Please teach your kids the dangers of social media. You might not be popular with your kids when you do that, but it's so freaking dangerous. Oh my word. A lot of creeps on there. Trixie, welcome to membership. So, yes. So, basically, Kegan Kline, okay, he was going to plead guilty. I think it's possibly to protect his dad. But you can think what you like. Tell me what you think. The thing is, when it was the day for him to actually enter his plea, he's like, nope, he's changed his mind. So, you see, he likes to play games, this one. So, they're like, oh, man, okay, so he got let out of court again and went back. And then they're like, okay, now he's ready. So, apparently now this next hearing will be July 27th. 2023. Brittany Stevens, welcome to membership as well. Lots of new members. We'll have a member stream again soon. Yes. I know. T3 says, poor real Anthony Shots. Yeah, Hasina. In other words, I praat net 'n klomp kak. Exactly. If you guys don't know what all that means, go to my second channel. You'll learn from Karin. So, now let's look at the suspect who was arrested and how. Oh, someone's saying it could have been Alaska. Could be, I don't know if it was Canada or Alaska, but apparently the real guy, yeah, is now a police officer there. Shame on Kegan Kline. And Kegan is a significant person in the case because he was the last person, apparently, to talk to Libby German. But that could have been something totally separate. Maybe he thought he was going to meet up with them, and then he's like, where are they? I don't know. I think there's still a lot to uncover there. Not that I don't personally think he's involved in the crime itself, but you just never know. Thank you for being a member for 6 months. Prayer partner Eve, thank you so much. And yes, I'm from South Africa. I see someone's asking. Now, Richard Allen's home was searched on October 13th, 2022 for 12 hours. Law enforcement looked in the flower bed, the shed, and the fire pit. That was pretty damn interesting. This whole thing and how it transpired was pretty interesting, right? Okay, thank you. Kathleen says, yep, Alaska. Okay, Alaska, yes. So then, I just want to say this one as well. Jean says, when I saw the photo of Alan's daughter on the bridge, it looks just like an outfit Libby wore, denim jacket over a sundress. I know, right? And then there's a picture of his daughter in a tie-dye t-shirt. Some people even speculated it was Libby's t-shirt. But I think it wasn't exactly her t-shirt. It was just one like it. But yeah, the similarity is pretty eerie. Okay. So, his home searched October 13th, 2022. So it's not that long ago, if you think about it, right? But what a turn in the case. Law enforcement looked in the flower bed, the shed, and the fire pit. They were seen carrying out a shoebox, dark cloth, a stack of thick books, not think books, and a Macy's bag. He was detained at the Carroll County Jail on October 26th and arrested on October 28th, 2022. 13 days after the search of his home. So obviously they went and tested a whole bunch of stuff, and then he was arrested. And he was charged with 2 counts of murder of Abby Williams and Libby German. The probable cause affidavit was sealed at the prosecutor's request, so then none of us had that. So when that came out, that was a whole hype of like, ooh, we're going to see the probable cause affidavit. Which is, again, where we're at with this case the whole time, because now they're going to be unsealing documents we've never seen before sometime next week and revealing this from some website. I will let you know as soon as I know, okay? I will bring you that news. It might be boring documents, we never know, but maybe not. Okay, so now you can see how long he's been already in jail. And look at this photo from there. So when you see the clips, you can see how much he's deteriorated, right? So yes, he was detained January 26th, and the charge that he was facing was called open murder. We've got the codes and everything. We've gone over that as well, which could also mean that he forced them down the hill, led them to the scene, and somebody else was there, you know, a group even. There's theories of all of this. Or maybe he really did act alone. We just don't know at this point. So, innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. He pleaded not guilty without the presence of a lawyer and said that he would be seeking his own private legal counsel. Then he wrote a letter because he's like, oh crap, it's expensive. I can't afford that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to need a public defender, right? On October 28th, 2022, he was transferred to the White County Jail where he was held without bond. And then on Monday, October 31st, ISP held a press conference to announce the arrest of Richard M. Allen in connection with the Delphi murders. And you guys might remember that as either the sniffle version of the press conference or the sniffle-free one that I made for you, editing out every single sniffle. Yes, working hard over here for you. So, okay, here's some pictures of him because we wanted to see. Okay, there's Bridge Guy. This is, I think, Tobe Leazenby's office, from what I remember. He's had the picture pinned there for a long time, all this time. So there's a sketch, Bridge Guy. Okay, so we're now looking at, does he look similar? I mean, he kind of does, right? Kind of does. This video from him, you know, the one on the far right there that you can see the picture, it's from a video that his wife took. And he was like on his phone and he just looked like he got a fright and then he looked really angry, right? So we looked at that as well. So there we have it. You could see from the picture top right at the back there that those flyers, those sketches, they were everywhere. They were even in the bar that he was in. So at one point he's like posing with his wife and the sketch is right behind him. Wow. That to me tells me the sketches were not that effective, but let me know what you think. So now, who is Richard Allen? He was born on 9/9/1972. 5'7". I don't know why 5'47", 5'7". Age 50 in 2022, 44 at the time of the murders. His alias, he's also got a lot of freaking aliases, which is interesting to see, is Craig Ross Renfro. He lived in Mexico, Indiana, before moving to Delphi, Indiana. He bought a house in Delphi in 2006. He's been married for 30 years, since he was 19 years old, and he has one daughter. He lives in Delphi. Well, lived in Delphi. Worked at the CVS as a pharmacy technician. He got his pharmacy technician license in 2018. Friends or family call him Rick or Ricky. Okay. He lives in a 3-bed, 2-bath home 1.7 miles from Monon High Bridge and 0.34 miles from the Delphi Community High School. That is damn close. Look at that. 1.7 miles from the bridge, 0.34 miles from the Delphi Community High School. Tiff Knox says, who TF has aliases? I know, right? Lots of these cases we see. He has a 2010 or 2011 Ford Focus. He was arrested October 28th, 2022 after reportedly being held in custody for 3 days. And neighbors report that law enforcement was digging in his backyard in the week leading up to his arrest. Some have speculated that the animal hair that they may have found at the scene could be from a cat that he had that could have been buried in the yard. But that's all a lot of speculation. That's right, Miss Schmooby Cakes remembers. Little Ricky Dicky? Little Dicky, yes. What do the hand signs mean? I don't know, like, I'm so cool, rock and roll, look at him. Badass. Okay. So on the case, Virginia says the t-shirt was a remembrance shirt for Libby and Abby. The t-shirt that she was lying on, you mean that his daughter was wearing? A remembrance shirt for Libby and Abby. Ooh, I remember that too. Oh my word. All of it's so hectic. Okay. So those are some facts about him. He was initially booked into the Carroll County Jail, but was then moved to the White County Sheriff's Department in Monticello, Indiana. Previous infraction. Does he have a criminal history? October 22nd, 2003. Not wearing a seatbelt. December 30th, 2005. Speeding. November 8th, 2011. Speeding as well. It's kind of, again, it's a little bit like Koberger with all the doubt and everything. Just because, like, this guy, like, he doesn't have a criminal past at all, right? But then again, you don't just wake up and murder 4 people, or wake up and murder 2 people in this case, right? So once they arrest these people and they are suspects, I wonder what more. I'm sure that the police find out so much more, right? Because there might be people calling and be like, oh my word, I met this guy and this is what happened, right? Claire Watson, welcome to membership. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. So I'm saying like Koberger, because remember Koberger's traffic stop video? And he's just like arguing about the traffic stop. Oh man, that's about it, right? So anyway, licenses. What licenses does he hold? A pharmacy technician license from February 2018. A hunting license, which piqued everyone's interest. They're like, I knew it was going to be a hunter, right? And a concealed weapons permit. A professional license was issued in Indiana for this pharmacy technician one. And we've done quite a deep dive speculation on that. The timing of that, when it was renewed, when it wasn't, and all of that. So check out the playlist if you want to see some of that. On November 2nd, 2022, Sheriff Tobe Leazenby requested for Richard Allen to be transferred to a more secure state facility. On November 3rd, Judge Diener granted this request, and then on the same day recused himself from the case. That was pretty shocking for the judge in this high-profile case to be like, that's it, I'm recusing myself. As far as I remember, he got harassed by a bunch of YouTubers. So sometimes we joke and say these freaking YouTubers, right? But yeah, in this case, the freaking YouTubers were harassing Judge Diener and his family and making all kinds of threats. And so, I don't know. He recused himself. Richard Allen was transferred to an undisclosed Indiana Department of Corrections state facility where he is segregated from other prisoners for his own safety. Red suit as per Indiana Code for restricted housing inmates. Richard Allen has until November 17, 2022 to inform the court about the status of hiring his own attorney, which he then did. He got public defenders. Now there was this hearing yesterday, okay, June 15th, 2023. Let's look at the clips from when he arrives at the court and when he leaves, okay? That's all we have. We didn't have any footage from inside the courtroom. These are his attorneys.
Yeah, we're here early.
There's just background noise. Here comes Richard Allen. There's Tobe Leazenby with him. Well, standing there waiting for him. Tobe Leazenby.
Richard!
That was him arriving. This was after the hearing. This was him leaving. Looking, you saw the pictures of him, how he looked before. Look at him now. Look at him. I'm gonna pause every now and then so you could see. Damn. What are we thinking? So apparently he was like bumping into things and looking really weak, gaunt, they say, lost a lot of weight. I mean, Never Wise says this is an act by him. I mean, we also know Ted Bundy, for instance, he lost a lot of weight on purpose when he was in jail. He actually escaped a few times, but one of the times was because he lost a lot of weight and went through a hole in the ceiling and walked out the front door. So I'm not saying that this is intentional. I mean, to me, it really looks like he's in a state. He really does look very weak, fragile. But it's not the first time that I've seen suspects look this way. Either by, I don't know. It could be a mixture of things. As I said, we can discuss it later. What do you think? Let's see now. There's many factors. So it would be mental health. It would be physical health. Like, how are the conditions really there, right? Remember, he's not the victim. The victims are Libby and Abby. This is the time to remind us again. Okay. But do you think that this is constitutional? Do you think they're treating him right as someone who's innocent or proven guilty? Birdie B says, severe case of poor me syndrome. As Laura Richards says, it's when they want to get empathy. When they want the world to feel sorry for him. He wants the world. Maybe. We're speculating. I don't know. So... You said this girl says he looks empty. Cha-Cha Dot says very scary. That's right. Tia Mai says being stressed does not mean that could also be stress. Yes, stress. Like, oh my word, because maybe he thought he's still innocent to proven guilty, but maybe he thought he'll never be a suspect. Let's say that, never be arrested, never be a suspect. It really came as a surprise. Like, whoa! Imagine for 5 years being like literally living right here amongst everyone. But yes. Caroline said, I speculate this was his first life-ending assault on anyone. I'm imagining him dwindling like this because he took it too far just once and got caught. Did not even get to escalate subconsciously. You might be right, Caroline, especially if he was drinking at the time. That could be interesting, because now he wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like totally sober dealing with it. That could be a lot psychologically. We're not here to feel sorry for him. You know what I mean? We were just discussing. What do you think? Jean says, it's just him. I don't think he's being treated any worse than anyone in jail, that he's in jail with. That's what people are saying. Are other people deteriorating like this? Is the whole jail something to like shut down? Is something going on there? Apparently, we don't know. I haven't been there, but apparently not, right? Plain Jane says, escape who? We're talking about Ted Bundy. When I mentioned escape, I said Ted Bundy. I've written a book on Ted Bundy if you want to go and listen to that. I narrated it, or you can buy the paperback. Cheryl says maybe he's really losing it. It's rough in prison. I mean, it could be that too. His wife was there in the courtroom, and on this next slide we will see, they say normally he would make eye contact with her, or, you know, look at her, or mouth the words "I love you" to her. And this time they said he looked so dazed and confused, so out of it, didn't even look at her. Could that be a strategy? It's been done before, as I said. Harvey Weinstein, the Golden State Killer. Yeah, all those, they get all frail. There's some others as well. There's many actually that they do this. Now, is he doing it? I don't know. Is it possible though? Sure. So, again, we did this in the beginning. I'm going to go over it now in case you missed it in the beginning. That was just the bullet points for everyone who just wanted these updates. But there was a hearing yesterday. Now, this was intended to be a bond hearing. Then it was changed to a suppression hearing. Now, what is the suppression hearing? Let me show you that quickly. So we are at 155 over there. So, this is the suppression hearing, what it was about. The defense attorneys representing accused Delphi murderer Richard Allen have filed court documents seeking to prevent the state from presenting key evidence to the jury in the high-profile case. Attorneys Brad A. Rosie, I would normally say Rossi, but he particularly said that it's Rosie. Okay. So, Rosie and Andrew J. Baldwin on Tuesday filed a motion in limine regarding ballistics, which is typically a pre-trial request asking Special Judge Fran C. Gull to exclude certain evidence. In this case, evidence relating to the examination of firearms and ammunition from the trial by ruling that it is inadmissible. Yeah, okay. So then, Allen is facing 2 counts of murder in the twin 2017, or double, right? 2017 slayings of Abigail Williams, 13, and her friend Libby German, 14, whose bodies were discovered in a wooded area just off the Delphi Historic Trail System. Abby and Libby vanished while walking the Monon High Bridge Trail near Delphi, Indiana on February 13, 2017. So this we've all gone over. The motion filed by Allen's attorneys is currently sealed, but a probable cause affidavit. See, so that's one of the things that will be unsealed. Probably next week, right? A probable cause affidavit previously filed by prosecutors highlights a key piece of ballistic evidence likely to be at the crux of the case against the accused murderer. While authorities have not released the cause of death for the 2 young victims, the affidavit states authorities recovered a .40 caliber unspent round from the scene of the murder that was located between victim 1 and victim 2's bodies, which was said to have extraction marks on it. An unspent round means the bullet was never fired but may have been loaded and extracted from a firearm chamber. So that's all interesting. And then if we go to the probable cause affidavit here for a second, and then I'll go back to the presentation just to finish that up. I hope you found the refresher useful. This is the probable cause affidavit that we've gone over before, so if you've never seen it, please go and check out that episode. I will link the playlist for you. So because individual videos would be too much, just check out the playlist, see what you want to watch. And as I say, look at the case files, that'll help a lot. Tiff Knox says the Golden State Killer acted all weak and sick. Please, exactly, they do that. Some of them do that. Now, here they say on page 2 of 8, victim 1 and 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to victim 1 and 2, south of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber unspent round, less than 2 feet away from victim 2's body, between victim 1 and victim 2's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. And then here they interview all the witnesses who may have seen someone looking like Richard Allen that day, right? So this is very interesting. I would recommend checking out the episode where we went over every page of this. Now, back to the presentation quickly. Yes, we were here. Okay, so that is very critical, as they say, key evidence. And they're like, no, we want that thrown out before the trial. Very interesting. So then, Richard usually, according to reporters, greets his wife, makes eye contact, did not this time. He was described as looking dazed, confused, fragile, and out of it. This hearing, as we said before, became more about his safekeeping and moving him from the Westville Correctional Facility, which is apparently a maximum security prison, from what I'm understanding. He shouldn't be in a prison. He should be in jail. And anyway, so they want to move him to Cass County Jail. The authorities, investigators are worried that he won't be kept safe enough in a jail, even if segregated. That's what they're worried about. They need him to be okay to go to trial. But his attorneys are saying where he's at right now, he's deteriorating. I don't know, they made it sound very hectic. Like, he's got soiled clothes and he only eats like this and he's got a mattress on the floor and all that. But when we read through that, many people in chat were like, but that's normal, especially for that facility. Right? Okay. So, AC says, so if he's found incompetent, then they stop the trial until he's found competent. Yeah, and we've seen that happen many times before as well. Double Z said he's in prison for his safety. Exactly, not for comfort or anything like that, but for his safety. But hopefully the Cass County Jail, which Judge Gold said he can be moved there under advisement. So let's just hope that he does stay safe there and segregated. Richard, okay, wait, sorry, we read through that. The trial date has been set for January 8th, for 3 weeks, to January 26th, 2024. Documents that were previously not released to the public, like the one we just saw, the motion in Lamine, will be published by Judge Gold to a website, apparently sometime next week. I have already been in contact with the court, all the way from the Netherlands. I'm like, hi. And I'm asking them, what is this website? So hopefully I'll find out and we can keep track of that. Otherwise, I'm sure at some point, it will be released and we can look at it. The ballistics and bail hearings will be set for a later date. So yesterday, they were so busy with all of that about his safety and just all kinds of things that they didn't really get to the ballistics suppression and the bail hearing. That's going to be set for a later date. So it would have been great if they had like a 2 or 3 day hearing set and address all of that. But anyway, so I think a lot of people were in the courtroom waiting to hear about the suppression of evidence, and that just never happened. Okay. Jan says, what's the difference? Prison and jail mean the same to me. Me too in South Africa, but not in America. Jail is where you are at before you go to trial. Once you go to trial, you're convicted, then you go to prison. That was very generalized, but yes. If an American wants to explain it better, do it. Okay. And Heidi Beth says, we don't want him to die because they need to find him guilty. If he is, why is the focus on poor? Richard Allen, I couldn't care less. Yeah. We don't want the focus to be on him. No, but he does have rights as a man who's innocent or proven guilty in a court of law. So if you just even compare, him and Koberger, for instance, damn, this dude has deteriorated a lot. Is it a strategy? I don't know. Anyway, so then the ballistics and bail hearings will be set for a later date. Prosecutor Nick McClellan said that, and this was big, he said that Richard Allen has confessed 5 or 6 times while in jail. So not to the police. It doesn't mean he's now confessed. There's no trial. We're done. He's apparently said things to other inmates. I don't know when or how, because it's supposed to be so segregated for like 20 plus hours a day. So anyway, this is all hearsay, okay? But his attorneys didn't say, no, he didn't do that. He's been segregated this whole time. They were like, yeah, okay, we acknowledge that he has said some incriminating things, but they say it's due to his deteriorating mental health, that he's very confused. Christine Isabel, no. That's not correct. Okay. So, solitary confinement for 20 hours a day. In court, he wore a ballistic vest and they could shock him if he misbehaved. I found out after the Letitia Stark trial that she could also be shocked at any time. She had a similar thing going on, we just didn't see it. But apparently they were like, if this guy misbehaves, we can shock him at the push of a button. Like, oh my word, okay. So there's that. Now, everyone's speculating about why he's wearing yellow. I don't know why. I tried to look at the facility itself, like exactly why. It could signify, it could be, I heard on some mainstream media episodes that it could be because they can see him easier. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what it is, if it's seeing him easier. But Sometimes the yellow is to say that they're in poor health, and I don't know, all kinds of things. So if you know, please let me know, because I'd love to actually know the reason. Janet, welcome to membership. All right, so if he's confessed 5 or 6 times, I don't know about that. That's all hearsay, and as we know, we can't really trust what other inmates say. There's also been like calls that were published at some point, and them reporting on, you know, how Richard Allen was doing and all kinds of things. So I'm not sure I trust that, but it's interesting that his defense attorneys didn't say, no, man, no, sorry, but no. They're like, oh yeah, we acknowledge he's made some incriminating statements, but it's just because of his mental health. So very interesting. Okay, I'll get to all your comments in a moment. Hashtag, if you could share, please like the video, share. Hashtag Libby and Abby is how it's categorized on social media as well. So that's all in one place, right? Hashtag justice for Libby and Abby. Hashtag Delphi. Yes. Ken Dalton, that was, I believe, the red one was initially that. Unalive watch. But it could also be. It could be, yes. So Allison says he was in red. Yes, he may be in yellow because he's in a medical unit. Could be that as well. Yes. And Alex Lux, thank you for being a member for 8 months. So please remember who this case is about, you guys. It's about Libby and Abby and justice for them. And I hope that if this is the suspect, and if they think this is the only suspect, that he can make it to the trial. Mentally, physically, that he can make it. You know? And he better be on... I just hate censoring this. YouTube hates it, you know, when we say these words, but it's just like, oh man, suicide watch. He needs to be, because a lot of times, these type of people, you know, they want to have the last word. So they need to be. Okay. So I think that's the end of my presentation. What else did I have for you? Just hold on one second. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Let's just close that. Have you done map time, you guys? Have you seen the maps of this? Do you want to do map time? We've done it so many times. I'll show you quickly. Okay, it's map time. Quickly, everyone. Just a quick refresher right here. This girl, thank you so much for your $1.99 super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, so, wait, what is it? I just want to quickly fix the coloring. It doesn't look great for us. Wait, there we go. And a little bit brighter for us. A little more saturation. How's that? Okay, let's also zoom out slightly. No, wrong one. Wait, there we go. Look how close everything is. I mean, it is actually, it's right, all right there. I'll just leave it like this, actually. Here's the Monon High Bridge. This is where he lived. Look how close he lived to that. The school is like right here where he lived. I hope you can see my cursor. This is where that gas station, which is now permanently closed, I see. But this, I believe, is the Marathon gas station where Kegan Kline said he was waiting in a red Jeep while someone else was committing the murders. Like, what is that guy saying? The thing is that the FBI went there to get surveillance footage, but then somehow it got messed up and they lost the footage. So that sucks, because that would have been great to vet. Was he there or wasn't he there? And what was he doing there? And if he really was there waiting for someone else to commit the murders, what the hell? How are they connected? What is going on? And then the CVS, where Richard Allen worked, is right here, like in town, like super close to everything. We've driven around this before too. So if Richard Allen is the dude who did this, whoa, like he really was living in plain sight in a very small community. Here's also the Abby and Libby Memorial Park. So they raised a lot of money for that as well and made a memorial park over there. So yes, very quick map time, just so you can see. Indeed. Okay. And then, let me just see if there was anything else I wanted to show you. Oh, I just had this. So you can see this is Nick McClelland, in case you don't know who Nick McClelland is, the prosecutor. When there's lots of people in this case to look at. Wait, just to hear them. Let me make it nice for you. Nicholas McClelland. They said that he was sounding ultra confident, all fired up in yesterday's hearing. This is not from yesterday's hearing. This is a very old interview from... Okay, not very old. It's 7 months ago. So let me play this one for you quickly, just so you can see who he is.
Investigation. I want to thank the team behind me. This is the Homicide Task Force team that we've put together. thank them and thank their families for being so understanding for the many nights they've worked away from their families, away from their children.
So that is the prosecutor, Nick McClelland, who said the whole time yesterday, this dude has confessed 5 or 6 times, and everyone's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? You know, so that's interesting. I would love to know more about that. Confess to what? How? Is he losing his mind? Is he saying things? I don't know. Or is he actually confessing to an inmate? We just don't know. Janice, thank you for being a member for 4 months. And Heidi Beth, thank you for your $5 super chat. And I can see all of you guys are speculating what the yellow outfit would be all about. I think each facility has their own color code, yes, for what they wear. And yellow, someone was saying, is for transport. Someone saying for transport from a medical facility. All of that, right? Lisa says, Grizzly, random question. Have you ever been or visited the US? Indeed. I used to be an airline pilot for 9 years. Yes, indeed. How do you know there's a pilot in the room? They're going to tell you. That is a pilot joke. Members know, okay? Members and patrons know that joke. So the thing is, yes, I've actually flown there a lot. I like America a lot. Yes. So now, that was Nicholas McClelland. Now, let's just quickly look at what other clips I have here for you, which is this one. Oh, my word. You guys remember this? This is just to point out all the persons of interest along the way. This is Tobe Leazenby, the sheriff, okay? And for a long time, I think even now, still people speculate that he's really the guy. But look what he said here.
Like one of the suspects.
Right. And ironically, I was listed as a suspect in the initial investigation.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
He said he was considered a suspect in the initial investigation, believe it or not. Now, if I expand this for you quickly, like this, look what I've made here for you. A while ago, 7 months ago. Delphi case file. Okay, now if you look at this Delphi case file, look at it. You can see everything in chronological order. Yes, so go check this out if you just want to catch up on a few things like this one. Robert Ives, wait, where is it here? Former prosecutor interview. Very, very interesting, especially now in hindsight. You must go listen to some of these old interviews and press conferences and things. I don't think this case will ever stop fascinating me, honestly. And then let's see this one. Oh, yeah. This is the playlist that I've made for you, and I'm just showing you because some new Grizzlies are emailing me and saying, have you ever heard of the Delphi case? And I'm like, what? Have you ever heard of my playlist? What is going on here? So this is the playlist that I've got for you. There are 65 videos that we've done so far. So we can go all the way back. Everything. There's the locations and everything. So I hope that you will check that out. Yes. So I think we've gone over everything. Damn, that felt quick, but maybe it wasn't quick. Also, do you guys think that Richard Allen is maybe losing all that weight and looking so frail and everything so that he can look completely different to the video? To Bridge Guy. You know? Oh, I thought Crime Circus is here. I'm like, what? Okay, you said nice to see you in Crime Circus chat today, G. I got my wrench over there. Thank you so much. I'm there quite often. So, yes. Crime Circus. Yes, indeed. Nice to see you there too. Holly Monster says, not sure how he can be so arrogant with that kind of moustache. Well, once upon a time, I wouldn't really be smiling about it, is what we all said initially when we're like, whoa, this is so sus. When he's like, once upon a time, I was considered a suspect. Like, don't smile about it. And that, yeah, that's quite a moustache. But maybe he just thinks like, what the hell? People thought I was a suspect. Some people still do. Chef Lady says he supposedly wrote letters to the warden. What? Okay. Quite hectic, this case. Wow. So all that we know now is we are actually waiting for a few things. Number one, we're waiting for those documents to be published. The previously sealed but not officially sealed documents. Okay, we are going to do a document deep dive once we do have them. I think that will be great if you want to, depending on what's in there. If it's like really nothing, or like really boring or something, I'll be like, okay, well, I don't know what to say about it. But I hope that it'll be interesting, and I hope I can bring them all to you. So there's that. And we are waiting to hear when the hearing will be set for. I haven't seen a date yet. I looked today on the site. If I missed it, sorry. But I looked today and I didn't see a date. But we want to know, when is that suppression hearing going to take place? Because I think it's going to be very interesting. I think the defense team is doing a very good job of defending their client and saying, okay, we want the ballistics evidence thrown out. Just like if they were in the Idaho case to say, if the defense were to say, we want to throw out all DNA evidence. That whole knife sheath thing, yeah, out. I mean, it'll be like, wait, what? But what else do you really have, right? Other things in that case, the Elantra and everything, whatever, all that. But now the knife sheath is the thing, right? And in this case, like the ballistics are the thing. And they're like, we would like that thrown out before the trial. So I think that's a very good move from them. Very smart to at least try. Like, can you throw that out? Thanks. They'll probably be like, no. But good try. So we are waiting to see. When's the suppression hearing? When's the bail hearing? Because I thought that's going to be yesterday as well. So yes. Okay. So let's see. Let me quickly see some comments. I'm going to watch the live chat replay because I think I missed a lot of your comments. So I'm very, very sorry if I missed things that you were saying. But I will go watch the live chat replay and see what you all said, because there's always a lot of smart people over here, and I really like just hearing your thoughts, and especially at those key moments when I'm asking for your opinion. I can't wait to read it. Damn, Sherry Lynn says, I would like to say you're the best true crime channel out there, and I listen to about 10 different ones. Favorite, thank you so much out of 10. Top 10, top 1. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Let me quickly just check one more thing before we go. We're going to hit a new milestone. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. This will be a cool milestone to hit. We like those round numbers, you know. So let me just check how many we've got to go, you know. Ooh, we've only got 50 more subscribers to go. So if there's 50 of you in here, you know who you are, lurkers. Hit that subscribe button. Don't be shy. Danny Scales, welcome to membership. Today is Friday, so it's weekend. Hope you guys have a happy weekend. I will see you again very soon. There's always things to talk about. I'm going to bring you a case on Sunday, so make sure you have subscribed, the bell on to all, right? So you don't miss out on that. Haven't set a time yet, but I would like to bring you a case on Sunday that really that needs the Grizzly's attention. And so, let me just see. I'm not T-Pain says, unpopular opinion, but I'm low-key tired of so many people defending horrible human beings and justifying what they've done. I'm tired of hearing innocent or proven guilty, but we have to. I don't want to get sued. It's not about that. Just know. Okay, I'm going to defend myself over here. Yeah, as a YouTuber, you have to say that. You will get sued so badly. It is a reminder, because he is innocent or proven guilty. It's a matter of fact. But social media comes with great responsibility. You better be responsible about it if you're thinking of making a channel. Daniel, welcome to membership. Miss Schmoopy Cake says, "Don't go." I hope that you guys check out my Corey Richards episode from yesterday if you missed it, because you might enjoy those emails. Like, not that the topic is enjoyable, but those emails that she wrote to the detectives with emojis and everything. Those body cam transcriptions, I found it very interesting to go over with you. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check that out. Tiger Lily Girl says, too many coincidences around KK. I just sense he's involved somehow. Or maybe he wants to be. It's one of those, like, lurkers, right? And he's, like, Googling things, trying to incriminate himself. But yet, it is very interesting. Yes. Z question says, are the walking videos Patreon exclusive now? They've always been. Yes. Sometimes I get from the vault on Patreon and put them on members only, but on members we do members only live streams. On Patreon, yeah, there's documents, there's photos. I just shared some today, some behind the scenes photos, including Fury in his fort. Very cute. So thank you to everyone. They are completely different. If you don't know the difference, go to grizzlytruecrime.com and you'll figure it out right there. Thank you so much, mods. Thank you so much to all my patrons, members, and all the new subscribers. Let's quickly have one more look to see how many. And I want to see if you guys subscribe while I do the outro, because some people do that. They're a little bit shy to do it while we're busy here. So, okay. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe and have a happy weekend. Okay, bye.